Now Arsenal are looking to sign a left-sided attacker. Really, they want two, according to my information. So Gabriel Jesus could go, and there's interest from both Brazil and Italy. And Arsenal, between now and the end of the window, will look for that kind of starting left winger that was originally Morgan Rogers, and then in addition to that, a more central attacker. And that's where the links with Julian Alvarez come in. And the beauty of Alvarez is that he can play in both positions. Now, with Alvarez, Atleti don't want to sell, and yet maybe if the player really agitates, they would prefer to sell outside of La Liga than within it to Barcelona. And in that respect, it could mirror the Harry Kane deal, where Daniel Levy had no intent to sell Kane to Man United, but it was a better deal and an easier negotiation for Bayern to get over the line. As of now, though, no movement, but Andrea Berta knows the player and Atletico Madrid really well. They've discussed Iliman and Jai. That was long before Morgan Rogers or the failed pursuit of Vinny Jr. They also, at that point, liked Anthony Gordon, but of course, he went off to Barcelona. And Junior Krupi, another player on the radar, but neither Bournemouth selling appetite is there, and add to the fact that the player's now injured for 3-4 months as well. So that doesn't appear to be moving either. So it feels like Arsenal are back to the drawing board now, but I agree with you. They will be looking to make another statement signing after Bruno Guimaraes, and it wouldn't at all surprise me if 2 more attack-minded players come through the door between now and the end of the window.
Now, this story broke yesterday evening whilst we were live, and it has grown already since then. And Gary Jacobs here stating that Mikel Arteta has been trying to strengthen Arsenal's left flank this summer. They have explored a deal for Bradley Barcola, valued at 128 million, with Liverpool also interested. Arsenal are also searching for a centre-back and potentially a forward, with Julian Alvarez as the main target. Now, during the Vinicius Jr. saga, the talk of Julian Alvarez really died down. And the reason it died down is because Arsenal know if they would have spent 150 million on him, the image rights, the bonus, the wages, it isn't just 150 million. A massive chunk of their player budget goes, because remember, it isn't about net spend. It isn't just about transfer outgoings. The salary he would have been on would have been 400,000 to 500,000. The image rights bigger than everybody else. That comes out of the pot for buying players, because it isn't just a transfer. It's not like a computer game with a wage bill and a transfer package and an agent fee package and a bonus package. There's just essentially a pot of money that is used to cover those expenses for players. And the higher the salary you can... The one part of the game that is true, you can do this on the computer games. If you increase your salary budget, you see your transfer budget go down. There's an element of truth into it. It just isn't as basic as that. But I'm not surprised to see these links. Now, some might say they're lazy links to get Arsenal fans back involved and engaging. I don't think they are. We know Arsenal are involved in this deal, and all summer long, their name has been attached to it. Now, Sam Blitz here says that Arsenal are interested in Julian Alvarez, and there is currently a stalemate as Atletico Madrid do not want to sell Alvarez to Barcelona and would rather let him go to a club outside of Spain if he leaves. Arsenal need to convince Alvarez that North London is the right move for him away from his dream destination. So this is another highly complex deal for Arsenal. A player that prefers Barcelona, that's been well documented, but Atletico are currently saying they will not yield. Now, there are talks scheduled between Diego Simeone and the player, where the player is going to lean on Simeone to try and convince the board and the president at Atletico Madrid to sanction the sale. There are reports coming out of out of Barcelona as well, that essentially state that they feel there is going to be a yield late in the window. They feel there is going to be a backtrack or a way the deal can be done where Atletico will eventually sanction the exit of Julian Alvarez. Now, this is what Arsenal will need to guard against, because there is the optics level that some people care about. They go in heavy again and don't get it done. There will be this Vinny said no, this Rogers said no, they couldn't get Alvarez, they're the champions of England. The Rogers one I put separate because he isn't worth 117 million, and I understand why they didn't go that high. I actually concur with them. Although I think Rogers is an excellent player, I wouldn't have paid that much. Vinicius Jr. and Alvarez is a different level, though. You are aiming for the top tier group of players, and of course, Vinicius Jr. is above, is higher in that category than what Alvarez is, but I think he sits in that plethora of world-class superstar players. They are very hard to sign, and there is almost an element of a PR disaster when you don't land them. But what's the alternative? Don't try and land them. You're never going to land all of them. You've just seen Real Madrid. And it was a weird... You saw that in the transfer window yesterday. You had like Arsenal sign Bruno G, not get Vinny. So there's a happy and a sad moment. And then you had Real Madrid, they kept Vinny, they're happy. And then they don't get Rodri, they're sad. You kind of... You see, maybe it happens with Barca. They bring in someone like Rodri, but they don't end up with Julian Alvarez. Oh, everybody misses out on top targets. The question is, are they going to go in for another top target and kind of get it done, get it over the line? Or are they going to be in a situation whereby they end up with no one of that level? That remains to be seen, in my personal opinion. I think nobody understands the outcome of that. But it does appear there are a number of outlets now saying that Arsenal... I think Arsenal should do this, by the way. I don't think they should care about the optics. I think they should do what's right. And I think what they should do is speak to the players' camp first. I think they've already not got an agreement with Atletico, but I think Atletico would sell to them at the right price. And I would sit down and say, look, you've always been our... The great thing they can say is you've always been a number one striker target. We were looking... Vinicius was a left winger, not a striker. We're prepared to pay whatever it takes to get you out of Atletico Madrid. Yes, we know on a professional level you prefer Barca, but that deal isn't happening. What we can offer you is this salary, this position in the squad, these bonuses, these image rights. They can go on the charm offensive. There is a relationship there, I believe, already between Berta and the camp. I would go all in if I was Arsenal. Now, I would probably try and keep it as private as possible because although I don't care about the optics, one, I'm not an Arsenal fan, and two, I think we spend too much time on that. I would still try and keep it as private as possible, but I would absolutely go all in because I do think from